Mr. Speaker, my question is to the Prime Minister. Does he agree with all recent comments by his Minister of Energy and Resources?
The Honourable Bill English on behalf of the Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, on behalf of the Prime Minister, I'm not familiar with every comment made by the Minister. If the member was more specific, I might be able to help him.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Mr. Speaker, does he agree with Jerry Brownlee? While the National Party never forewarned the public that it was intending to mine in protected and highly sensitive conservation areas, it did tell the mining industry up to 2 years before the election that it intended to do that.
The Honourable Bill English.
No.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Mr. Speaker, I take that answer means that he rejects the statement.
The member's asking a question.
Mr. Speaker, after undertaking to remove protection from highly sensitive environmental areas in the conservation estate, did National ever receive financial contributions from the mining industry?
The Honourable Bill English.
Mr. Speaker, the government has not undertaken to remove highly sensitive areas from protections under mining. Protections against mining. What it's done is put out a consultation document proposing the removal of some areas from Schedule 4. The government hasn't made any decision to do that.
Point of order, Mr. Speaker.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
The question was, did the National Party ever receive financial contributions from the industry?
Order. I don't need assistance on this. If that's what the member had asked, he might have got a different answer, but that's not what the member asked.
Point of order, Mr. Speaker.
Point of order, the Honourable Rodney Hyde.
It's also the case, Mr. Speaker, as I'm sure you'll appreciate, that the Prime Minister has no ability to answer in the House for the National Party.
That's a perfectly valid point of order that the member makes. The Honourable Leader of the Opposition, supplementary question.
Mr. Speaker, why did the National Government tell the mining industry that it intended to mine in the highly sensitive and protected conservation estate, but never bother to tell the public?
The Honourable Bill English.
Well, the member's allegation is simply not true.
Supplementary. Leader of the Opposition.
Mr. Speaker, how many more times must the hapless Jerry Brownlee be forced to contradict inaccurate statements of fact and figures before he loses confidence in him?
Point of order.
Mr. Speaker, you've been very hard, quite correctly, on ministers not making derogatory comments about members asking questions. I also think that should go for members opposite asking questions.
I don't need further assistance on this. The member makes a perfectly valid point of order, but if as Speaker I intervened every time there was a situation like this arose, I'd be intervening far too often. I kind of play the advantage rule somewhat, and I'm sure that once a member introduces that kind of language into a question, it's a pretty free answer that will follow, and members know that. The Honourable Bill English.
An answer to the question, not near as often as the hapless Mr. Goff, who's pulling smaller crowds than his finance spokesman at the moment.
The Honourable Leader of the
Not very good, Mr. Speaker, not very good at all. Mr. Speaker.
Order. I've called the Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Will the Prime Minister take the opportunity while Jerry Brownlee is in Mexico to announce a backdown on mining Great Barrier Island and Coromandel? If not, when will he announce that backdown?
The Honourable Bill English.
Mr. Speaker, the government is following a fully transparent process. It has published a discussion document, and in a matter of 4 or 5 weeks' time, the submissions process on that will close, and then the government will make decisions.
Mr. Speaker, in regard to that very transparent process, does he stand by his own comment in the Prime Minister's statement on the 9th of February that, quote, notwithstanding the public consultation process, the government will make significant changes to Schedule 4, end quote, and if he's determined to do that, why go through the farce of bothering with consultation at all?
Honourable Bill English.
Well, Mr. Speaker, we're going through the process of consultation because growing this economy is always going to involve some difficult trade-offs. And it is important that we test the way New Zealanders value, in this case, conservation areas against the possibility of economic growth that can flow from mining. And the government does not shrink from facing those particular challenges.
Question number 4, Dr. Paul Hutchison.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. To the Minister of Health, what reports has he seen in relation to improving health services?
Well, order is that there was a